Welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio, where we bring you conversations with the top business minds on Long Island and around the nation every week. Featuring expert consultants and small business owners who have found success but are also willing to share their top tips, failures, and give gritty, matter-of-fact advice based on their firsthand experience. Now, let's get down to business on Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello and welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. My name is Ray Schwetz, AVP of Community Relations at Jovia Financial Credit Union, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, CEO, keeper of their brand, marketing, and digital agency, and we're focused on being the premier resource for business and entrepreneurship.
We bring you business advice, tips, tools, and services that help you grow your business. Plus, we interview the top business leaders in the industry. So, Ray, I am super excited about this interview today for a number of reasons. You know, it just breaks my heart that due to COVID, the Broadway community and the theater community has really been impacted. But this next rock star that we have coming up, she is so much more than just Broadway. It's definitely her passion, and I can't wait for you to learn more about her and for us to share with our listening audience.
Yes, I have to say, I do miss the lights on Broadway. I do miss going to the shows. So very excited to hear from our guest. So helping provide us with business empowerment today is Pat Hurlock. She's the founder and president of Hurlock Marketing and Enterprises. So, Pat, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're glad to have you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about you originally came from American Express or Amex, and now you segued into Broadway. Tell us about that journey.
So, yes, I spent 10 years actually at American Express, and that's why I say I kind of sharpened my skill sets in terms of providing quality customer service and sharpening my own personal brand. It was my actual boss who said, every 10 years, you got to make sure you reinvent yourself. So what happened at 10 years? 9/11. So 9/11 happened, and that's when I raised my hand. Even if I didn't raise my hand, I was going to get a pink slip to move on. I had escalated to the role of Director of Marketing Education and Brand Management. But after 9/11, I was happy to take a pink slip so I could be closer to home and closer to my kids. And then I said, I should start my own business. I have some time. I have some extra resources in terms of dollars. And that was the beginning of Hurlock Marketing Enterprises. Initially, I thought I was going to focus on providing training to other corporations like I had done at American Express, but it didn't work out that way. I leveraged one of my resources who just happened to be throwing a fundraising event for her nonprofit. And she knew that I was starting my business. And she said, hey, why don't you come run my event? And I said, okay. And that actually started my event planning company, specifically working with nonprofits and their fundraising events. Again, after 10 years, I said, you know what? I kind of feel bad raising this money and then taking some of that money to pay myself. And I said, you know what? I think I better start focusing more on corporate clients. So lo and behold, I was able to focus on corporate clients and doing my thing. And then I got a phone call out of the blue from a ticket sales agent, marketing scout, and she was working on the Broadway show, The Color Purple. I don't know how she heard about me, but she gave me a call. She said, do you mind pulling together a group of people to come see The Color Purple? And this was many, many years ago when it first came out with Oprah, many, many years ago. And I said, sure. And I did it. I loved it. And that started HME Theater Lovers. So I've been doing small, big, a variety of theater groups for about 10 years now. So we started with musicals, we branched out into plays, and now we even do the opera and we do the ballet. And so it's just a passion of mine. I just really enjoy bringing people together to sit down and have a good time. It's fun. People like doing it. It's not super expensive when you're part of a group. And that's kind of the model. When you go by yourself and you go to Ticketmaster, you know, you pay your price plus the fees. But when you come with me, I get a group discount. And you can come by yourself because you're part of my group and you enjoy the benefits of the lower rate. So that has kind of been my model for the past several years, and it has worked. So happy to support Broadway by bringing people to the theater and filling their seats. That's my goal.
Now, Pat, I think you're being modest because you don't only take people to the theater and fill the seats. I mean, I've experienced some amazing meet and greets and just some one-in-a-lifetime moments at the theater,
Yes.
With you and know a lot of people that do. Can you share some of those highlights with us today?
Yes. So the talkbacks are really the cherry on top of the cake. I tell people, don't buy a ticket for a talkback because that can change at any moment. I may have good intentions, the cast may have good intentions, but things happen. So we were really lucky to get a talkback with Audra McDonald following Lady Day. And the show was just so intense. And then to just see her come out, her happy-go-lucky self, we were like, is that the same person we just saw on stage who was just so intense? She was phenomenal. I think I had about 160 people at that event, and she was just, able to give us some insights. And that's always the beauty of a talkback, is getting the insights and being able to pose those questions to find out what really was in your mind when you were going through X, Y, or Z. We also had a great talkback with the entire cast of American Son, starring Kerry Washington. Again, American Son, another heavy, intense show. And when Kerry came out on the stage, she was happy-go-lucky, but then she stopped because she saw there was somebody in the audience who was just sobbing. And she was like, what happened? And the woman was just sobbing because of the storyline. And so, again, that opportunity to hear, how did you do that? Or what was going through your mind when you were going through a particular scene? That was a great one. We had a talkback with the Lion King cast. We've had talkbacks with Anika Nani Rose when she starred in Carmen. So those are the special, like I said, the cherry on the cake that I'm able to provide when I can. It doesn't happen after everyone. It really kind of depends who I know. If I know a producer, if I know somebody who's in the show, that's how that works. It's not just calling and saying, can I have a talkback? It doesn't work that way. So those are the experiences that I think people really enjoy above and beyond just attending the show.
Well, that really does make it much more of an event because not only are you experiencing the show, but then you're seeing the kind of the other side of things, and you're getting to meet the people involved and to hear the background stories. I think sometimes those are even more exciting than the shows themselves.
Yes, oftentimes, correct.
Now, what is it that you like most about what you do?
I think because I do have such a passion for giving back, and I have been very fortunate to have most of my events have some community outreach component. So whether it's I'm doing theater parties because I love the theater, or I'm working with a corporate client, I'm able to work with corporate clients that are socially responsible. So I'm not just doing marketing to sell a widget. I'm usually planning some type of event or working on an initiative that's going to somehow benefit the community. So, for example, one of my long-term clients is Colgate-Palmolive, and I'm able to work with the Bright Smiles, Bright Futures initiative. And their goal is to reach 2 billion children by 2025. And they provide free screenings and free oral health care, toothbrushes, et cetera. And they do that globally. And I'm able to go, not necessarily globally, but I go across the United States and help them achieve that goal. So that makes me feel good. I don't feel as bad getting paid to do it. It's Colgate. It's not a nonprofit trying to, make a dollar. They have funds to support the community, and I feel real good about that.
That is something to feel great about. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of National Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, and our guest today is Pat Hurlock, founder and president of Hurlock Marketing Enterprises.
So, Pat, can you just give us some insight on some of the your experience when you first started out launching your business? We have a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners that are listening. Can you just share with us some of the things you've learned?
Sure. Well, I learned that you have to definitely focus on your research. And so in the beginning, I was taking advantage of all the free classes, anything that I could learn on the internet, talking to different people in my field to try to gather that free information because, at the beginning, we don't have a lot of money to work with. So everything is free, 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 free. But what I've learned throughout the years is what's most important for me, and I believe my success, is relationships. And making sure that when you are working for a client, you are giving them your all so that they invite you back again and again and again. I learned at American Express, it costs more money to get a new customer than to keep and make an existing customer happy. So get your couple of clients, make them extremely happy, and hopefully you will be with them over a period of time. All of my current clients I've had for over 10 years. Who does that? And I think that's because, you over deliver, you don't deliver, you over deliver, you under promise, you over deliver, and you make sure that you are meeting the needs of your client each and every day. And you continue to work until the job gets done. Another thing I learned at American Express, if you want a 9-to-5 job, that's great. But that's not an entrepreneur. You have to be ready to work around the clock. And I'm not saying you should only work, but you got to know that being an entrepreneur takes a lot of work. You get a lot back, but it takes a lot of work. Relationships, those are key. One will lead to another. My first client, going back to when I first started out, is the one who led me to my second client, who led me to my third client.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your experience right now as far as COVID. The lights are dim on Broadway.
Dark. They're just out.
They are out.
Left, and we know that you. This is something that's really close to you. It's not only your passion, but it's how you connect with people. So. And
to add to that, I would also say, you mentioned the relationships that are depending on you. You have nonprofits that you're working with, so. As DB said, not only you have these relationships within the Broadway community, but now you have these nonprofits. So
yeah. So, just a couple of things with Broadway going dark. It's not the, from a professional standpoint, I am okay. Hurlock Marketing is okay. From a mental standpoint, I'm devastated. It's just, not being able to bring my group together live, because not only do we get together to watch the show, but it's fellowshipping, it's networking, it's meeting new people, making connections. So what I've decided to do for my, what I call HME theater lovers, is to see if I can offer them some virtual experiences. So the first thing we did, because I had over 150 people scheduled to see Hamilton, like 3 or 4 days, right after we shut down, so we never got to go. But luckily at the same time, that's when Lin-Manuel said, you know what, I'm going to provide Hamilton on Disney Plus, and you guys can watch it there. Not the same experience, but it's better than nothing. So I got my theater lovers together, those who were so close to seeing it live, and we watched it virtually on our own, but then we came together online to talk about it. So that was my first virtual theater talk back. No stars, no bells and whistles, but it just gave us an opportunity for those who saw it already live to compare and contrast the virtual version versus the live version. And for those who saw it for the first time, to really talk about, did you feel the experience like we felt it when we were actually in Broadway? And believe it or not, those who saw it live, there were some good points seeing it virtual. I don't know if you saw it, but Hamilton, when you watch it on the screen or in front of your computer, they zoom in so closely to the characters' facial expressions. You lose that when you're in the back of the theater or if you're in, the balcony. But when you're in front of your computer and you see tears coming down the face of some of the characters or the expressions, we love that. So we don't want to replace our live experience, but it wasn't, something that we would say we would never do. So that's one thing. The other thing I'm doing for my HME theater lovers is I'm converting HME theater lovers to my HME book lovers, because I'm an avid reader, and I see you have a lot of books behind you. I have a lot of books as well. So similar to a talk back with the cast, I'm hoping to select a couple of books, have my theater lovers join me virtually, and let's bring in a couple of the authors to talk about what was going through your head when you wrote that line, or what was the real theme, or did you think about a second ending? So that's going to launch at the end of December. I did a soft launch on social media. I said, let me just see who's interested. And I think in 2 hours, I got 100 people. And I said, let me shut this down because I don't know if I want to make this intimate, if I want to make this big. Now I'm thinking I'm going to open it up and make it big because I never even got to email my HME theater lovers. So I don't want them mad at me. So I think I'm going to have to email, and there's 1,000 of them. I'm going to email them and say, if you want to do this, this is a substitute for now so that we can get together and still support the arts.
I wonder, there's also, so many opportunities with that. That's a great idea, because, a lot of folks do join book clubs and they get together. Now it's hard to do that. And there's, different genres to explore. So you could always have, if you want a guy like me, you get the science fiction and fantasy book club going. Oh, there you go. You get your own audience there. And I'm sure also, I read a lot of behind the scene books. So I'm sure that there are a lot of theater lovers who would love to not only do a virtual event, but then to follow up with an author of the behind the scenes book for the Broadway show.
We're on the same page. In fact, a Broadway producer by the name of Irene Gandy said to me, you should read a script. And then you read the script. And she says, then I could potentially get you some of the actors who actually played in the show in the past. Great. So that is also one of the ideas. So, because you know how quick it is to read a script. You can read a script in like a couple of hours, right? It's very easy to do. The book that we're reading for our launch is intense. It's going to take some time to get through it, but it requires some discussion with somebody other than yourself to kind of help you understand everything that's going on in the book. So yes to the script, yes to the behind the scenes. We're going to do all of that. And I'm actually going to steal your idea. Maybe I can have one date and have different breakout rooms for different books. So maybe breakout room number 1 could be a science fiction book. Number 2 could be, love and romance. Number 3 could be whatever. I don't know. I'm going to steal that idea. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, I like it.
I love it. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio. Our guest today is Pat Hurlock, founder and president of Hurlock Marketing Enterprises. My name is Donyshia Boston-Hill, along with Ray Schwetz on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. So, Pat, I tell you, this is. I love when we're, brainstorming. I feel like we're in a cipher here, and this is really, really great to see how, marketing and live events and Broadway that we're all pivoting. So yeah. Do you see hybrid events in your future?
Absolutely. Especially with fundraising events. I serve on a board and we held a virtual fundraiser in August. It was the most successful fundraiser that we've had because guess what? Now we don't have to just limit our reach to the people in our geographical area. Now we could invite people from California to Florida, Chicago, Texas. It didn't matter where you lived. It was a free event, quote unquote. But then once you got there and you enjoyed our virtual party, we were able to generate funds through donations. So again, it was the most successful. Our reach was bigger. So I do not see us going back to totally live, where I see 10,000 people sitting in one room eating the same meal. Of course we have to have that because we want to have the touchy-feely component of it. But maybe I don't want to go out in February. So give me the option to dial in or Zoom in, and I'll pay you your $150. But I don't want to necessarily get dressed and come out into the cold, but I still want to experience it. For those who do, let them go out. So definitely hybrid forever.
Absolutely. And I know, Ray can attest to this, that, there's been, some downsides of fundraising this year, but we've also heard some great success stories like this. So thank you so much for sharing. I think there's a lot of positivity to come out of this in 2021 and beyond.
Yes.
And I hope that if there's some caterers or some food companies out there, I also think it's a wonderful opportunity to partner with you and sponsor you for some of these events. I know I've done some hybrid or events, where it's live and then they've delivered food for you.
Absolutely.
So, there's always the opportunity for that.
Absolutely.
Now, what other partners are you looking to connect with?
Well, I'm always looking to support anyone who's looking to sponsor an initiative. I'm not necessarily a one and done type of company, one event, goodbye. I like those partners that have long-term initiatives because we're very multidimensional. So you can have an initiative that's going to benefit the community over a 5-year period, and we can help you in so many different ways. From doing a basic event, from doing, program, content procurement, getting your speakers, helping with your marketing collateral. We do so many different things. So we feel a little pigeonholed when we just work on just one event. We like initiatives. So any corporation or an individual that's looking to have some type of impact on the community, we'd love to partner with.
Do you feel like that's one of your biggest misconceptions? Because I run into that quite often because, we say marketing, but marketing is integrated marketing and we have so many types. Do you think that's the biggest misconception that you face with people?
The biggest misconception for me is I'm a party planner and I do weddings. I'm like, I don't do weddings. I can do almost anything, but I do not, no offense to the wedding planner, but that's not what I do. And I don't do parties. That's not what I do. So I say I do special events. I do meeting planning. Meeting planning, I know is a different name, but it all falls underneath marketing. So it's event marketing versus can you come up with a business plan to help me grow my widgets? I can, but that's not what I want to do. I want to do event marketing that benefits the community.
Oh my goodness, you're giving me like goosebumps because
same thing.
Oh my goodness. When they say event planner, it just drives me absolutely out of my mind because they get the experiential and the live part of it. And, again, no offense to the regular planners, the wedding planners out there, but it's a little gravitas and savviness that we have to do. It's really a production.
It's a production. It's strategy, it's production, but then we're not afraid to roll our sleeves up. And if we need to lick stamps, we'll lick stamps too, or get somebody to lick those stamps for us. So it's just so big. But as long as it's fun, and to me, again, keyword, it's benefiting the community. I mean, I could do any kind of event, but it makes me feel happier when I know underserved child is being served or a family is being served. Feeding America, getting the opportunity to work with them and know that we're helping to eradicate poverty is fabulous. And Feeding America is one of the partners with Colgate Palmolive, and Colgate is my client, so I get to work with so many different partners through them. So that's what I look for. How do we help the world in essence, not just sell widgets?
Connecting for-profit, connecting nonprofit, connecting arts and entertainment. So
yes. Can you find me that client? Can you find me that corporate nonprofit spin focusing on the arts? I'm here.
Now, if you wanted to leave our listener with one thing about you and about what you do, what would that be?
Oh, wow.
And I know that's a tough one.
It is tough. I mean, from a selfish standpoint, I'm just so multi-dimensional and could do so many different things. But I just want to encourage people when the arts come back to support the arts. That's what I want to do. I want people to support the arts. It's not as expensive as you think. You can go the day of a show and sometimes get a rush ticket for $35. You can go before opening night and get them at a lower rate. There are the Classical Theater of Harlem offers free opportunities, used to live during the month of July. Just support the arts in whatever way you can and bring the young people. I hate to hear that an adult is like, this is my first musical. What? No. My first musical was The Wiz with Stephanie Mills because my parents took me as a young person. So support the arts.
And that's a great one. Now, how can we find you? Actually, before you give us that, what's next for you and how can we find you?
So what's next is, for the first time in 18 years, I am going to take the last 2 weeks in December to just think about what am I going to really be focusing on and to try to train myself up so that I'm prepared for 2021. How can I support the arts virtually? How can I support clients virtually? I just need those 2 weeks to think, because we're all zoomed out, and I don't know what's happened in the last 2 weeks in terms of events, but I think I'm going dark. And I'm just going to be planning 2021. So the best way to reach me is I'm on Facebook under Pat Jenkins Hurlock, and my email address is HME, like Harry, Mary, Edward, at hurlockmarketing.com. And Hurlock is HURLOCK, marketing spelled out.com.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you very much for being with us.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And I like to leave you with DB's philosophy. When life gets you down, Hakuna Matata. Pat, thank you.
All right. Love it.
Love it. We want to thank you for being with us. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, your co-hosts and producers. This is an NCC Foundation Business Leaders Council production. Visit ncc.edu/WHPC for more information. Available on iHeartRadio, as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This has been Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nass Community College Foundation, on the voice of Nass Community College, 90.3 WHPC.